Check out the links in my description for more information, for more resources. Check out the podcast. Check out the Facebook groups. Just check out the links. There's a lot of great stuff there. Comment, rate, subscribe, share, like, dislike, whatever you want to do. So this is my Bulma Death and Taxes deck. One copy of the leader. For Goku off to defeat the King Piccolo. For Broly counter reversal. For Goku Eye for an Eye. For Kaioken Goku. For Angel 17 Rebel reinforcement. For Videl Miraculous Aid. For Heroic Duel Videl. For Khalifa Skillless. For Nappa Super Combo. For Testing Opposition. For Goku Junior Vegeta and Saiyan Saiyan. For Baby Juvenile Parasite. And for Jiren Legend of Universe 11. And 1 Super Saiyan Vegeta Unbridled Power. Obviously, we have burn effects in the deck, Vegeta being one of them, Goku's an Eye for an Eye, and Broly counter reversal. Anytime your opponent activates a counter skill, like a counter attack, counter, or counter play, they'll take a damage once per turn. So, of course, if you have multiple copies of these cards in play, then it'll be, multiple damage every time they play a counter skill card, like a negate. And the irony with that is the fact that whenever you attack, you're just trying to deal damage. So if your opponent negates your attack with a counter attack, you get what you want, which is you deal damage, right? So it totally bypasses the whole, combo set and stuff like that, because your goal is always to deal damage. And we all know the first 4 damage is the easiest, the next 2 requires a little effort, and the last 2 is the hardest. So the idea of the taxes part of the deck, which is these 2 cards specifically, is to make the last 2 damage easier. Because if your opponent, because it's a double-edged sword, right? If your opponent plays negates, they take damage. If they don't play negates, there's a high chance they'll take damage. Or maybe they get lucky and out-combo the attacks. It's up to them to make that decision, but that's the point. They have to make those decisions, so let's see what works out, right? Obviously, these effects are great, especially against stuff like Testing Opposition, the blocker negates, or the sparking negates, because you take a life in order to play them, right? Take a life, that's a cost to play them. So, since you're playing a counterattack, right, which is a counter skill, bang, you take a damage, they're taking 2 damage every time you play these, so it definitely makes it hard for your opponent to make that decision, especially if I swing with a single attack, and then they're like, all right, testing opposition to try to stop a single attack, and they end up losing 2 life just trying to stop something that would have only dealt 1 damage. So they were better off just taking the 1 damage from the attack. But again, that's the fun part, right? It's making the game harder for your opponent, but easier for yourself. The death part obviously is, board wipe effects like Goku off to defeat King Piccolo because he has the auto. Then we play and you have a red leader. Choose all your opponent's battle cards. They get minus 20k power for the turn. And then you give 1 marker to one of your red unisons. And then, of course, your opponent can't block this card's attack. This has deflect and it's triple attack. So you get 3 attacks off it. So you could potentially just swing with it twice and then just on the 3rd swing, not swing, right? And just keep it in active mode because there will be a blocker. All these are Saiyans and Earthlings, so they'll become blockers except Android 17, but he already does what he does, which is to negate an attack. And we, of course, like I said, we got Kaioken Goku to help us board wipe for 3 energy. Anything 20k power or less will get KO'd when you play this from your hand, and it has deflect. Has the active main. Since the leader is red, you pay 2 to pitch this card from your hand. So choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and minus 25k for it. So it's barrier hate for a situation where you need to get rid of something that has barrier. And there's plenty of times where I definitely needed to deal with something that had barrier. Angel 17. Negate an attack, play this card, and then choose one of your red battle cards with an energy cost of 1 and you drop it and play it. Notice it doesn't negate the skill, therefore, if you bring back Videl, which is the main target for this effect, she'll get her ability that when you play her, you get to choose 1 red Saiyan or Earthling, which is the main targets, and bottom deck them. in order to choose one of your red Saiyans, which would be a target, right? 3 cards or less, and add it to your hand. And notice it didn't say mono red, so that means you can add Nappa Super Combo, which is a multicolor. And that's the goal, is to get this back, use this as a combo. He'll hit the field by his own effect, and now you have a blocker. So this will negate an attack. This will bring her back. Remember, she's a Saiyan, because her effect says she's a Saiyan. Either way, she's an Earthling, so she'll become a blocker regardless. But the point is, bring her back, she'll become a blocker, so you can use it to block an attack. But she helps you get your Nappa, and your Nappa you can obviously use to try to out combo an attack, and then he'll hit the field, and then you can use him to block. So off of just playing one card, you could potentially stop 3 attacks. Four attacks, the whole out combo and then a blocker. So you can potentially stop 4 attacks off of one 17 play. So that's definitely a good little engine there. You got Videl to negate an attack, and when she hits the field, to become a blocker. We got the Khalifa for our, turn 1 skillless aggro strategy, so we can try to do 4 more damage turn 1. Obviously, the closer we get our opponent down to 2 life, the better, right? Especially once we start having our eye for an eyes, that makes them using their blocker negates very deadly. And when at the event that I was at, the PPG regional, the blocker negates kept popping up in a lot of my matchups. So this definitely would have hurt them to play those cards if I had these types of cards in play. I was playing Hatch, but the point is, oh man, if I had these types of effects in Hatch, that'd be delicious. Of course, Nappa Super combo with it at the end of the combo battle, play from the drop. And of course, it becomes a blocker because it'll be in active mode. Testing out position. If you have 5 or less life, take a life in order to play this card for free. And then make a token that's a blocker. Typically, I use that for that, just to play it for free. Because I'm already going to be using energy to play other negates and stuff, so then I typically just play this for free, so to speak. But of course, it helps me self-awaken, because once you're at 4 or less life, you can untap 2 energies, and then on your awaken side, you draw 2 cards every turn, which is definitely good against hand control. Drawing 2 cards every turn, it's always good. Saying Scion, we play for 1 energy, -1, bring out 2 skillless battle cards after we swing with it. There are those, of course, the Khalifas, they're Saiyans, so red Saiyans, so there will be blockers, so you can just bring them out just to be able to block 2 attacks or swing with them. Especially turn 1, turn 2, you're just going to be swinging a lot, but turn 3 and above, if you use Scions to try to bring them out, you're mainly probably going to use them to block, just to put up, a defense. Then we got Baby Juvenile Parasite. It has some effects, but we mainly obviously use it for its +1 ability to draw a card and then choose one of our opponent's battle cards and place it under this card and it gains 10 camp power for the turn. So that way it beats a 20k beat stick on our turn, and it's just spot removal, so more death for our opponent, right? Obviously, most of us who saw this unison was like, Bulma. Not my Bulma! So, Baby definitely trying to possess Bulma. And then, that'd be cool if they made that a card, a Baby possess Bulma. Because we already had Baby Vegeta, so Baby Bulma would be cute. Alright, listen, Baby Bulma Bandai. Alright, it also has the condition that if it will lose a marker, you take a card from under it instead, so that way it can stay on the field longer, so you can just keep absorbing cards. And of course, if your leader card is red and all of your energy is in rest mode, so any situation you're tapped out, it gives your leader 1k power boost, which with this leader, it's a lot. It's a lot considering the fact that she's already low power. This makes her a little bit stronger. Of course, Jiren, he's mainly here for the +1. Well, he's here for all his effects, but mainly +1 so we can get Double Strike uses it to help us kill unisons if need be, but definitely help us deal a lot of damage to our opponent, mainly to get them at least down to 2 lives, so that way our taxes part of the deck will be a threat to our opponent. And this is definitely something you want to swing while you have your, tax cards in play, because it'll make it tough for your opponent to decide, take damage. Has the so +1, so it can become Double Strike, and then so of course it'll stick on the field long, and then has the auto that when your opponent plays a battle card or a unison card, you may choose that card, and it gets minus 10k power for the turn, and then you negate the skill. So it's obviously the fact that it does hit unisons is obviously useful in some situations. In case you're playing up against a unison based deck, this would be a good way to defend. Especially if they're trying to do a whole bunch of empowered. So once they play a unison, you could be like, all right, well, I'm gonna negate 10k. It'll die before you even get a chance to do its +1 ability to power it up. And now it's not on the field anymore. Because there's the ruling thing that I just recently heard to confirm. So it's like, oh yeah, that's important to know, is that if unisons has their power minus to 0 or less, and it's until end of turn, not just for battle or something, but until end of turn, if I'm right, then it can't stay on the field. So basically, it'll have to leave the board. So pretty much can kill a unison with just playing this. Just like, let's say your opponent plays their a baby juvenile unison, right? Bang, just do the auto and kill it. So something to keep in mind. Then there's the -3 ability. If your opponent active battle, so there has to be a battle step, right? Active battle, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignore barrier, and -25k from it. So it's another barrier hate card there. So of course, +1ing your unison is something you want to do, obviously, so you can always be able to use that -3 ability. So this lets you go offensive and defense, which is always good to be able to do with Bulma. And we got our SCR, Vegeta, dual attack, sparking 25, ultimate deflect, triple strike, 40k triple strike. Active main, pay 4 red, play this card from your hand, and you may have one of your opponent's leader cards get -5k power for the turn, which you obviously will choose to. That way their 15k leader becomes a 10k leader, so that way your 10k leader can hit their 10k leader, right? So you definitely want to do that. And then the second active main, remove this card from the game, and then choose all of your opponent's battle cards in unisons, ignoring barrier, and place them into the drop area, and then place 1 card from your opponent's life into the drop area. So yeah, so that's obviously one of your big finishers. But your other finisher, it's your Goku offers to defeat the King Piccolo. And that's the end of the video.